feel the wrath of the Ultimate Warrior and the Legion of Doom.
Speak to me, Warriors. WrestleMania is upon us once again, and what better time to reminisce about the greatest wrestling arcade game of all time. This Patreon special missions request comes from Ninja level member Lord Cognito from the Iron Lords podcast here on YouTube. When you finish this video, head on over to his channel and check it out for some great gaming discussion. WWF Wrestlefest was developed by Technos Japan and released in arcades in June of 1991. A follow-up to their 1989 release, WWF Superstars. The tagline, bigger, badder, better, didn't just apply to WrestleMania. It fit Wrestlefest to a T as well. 12 superstars.
You think a number's large numbers?
Up from 8 from the original game, 6 of them playable, with bigger on-screen characters, more moves, and voice commentary.
My warriors live for those changes you speak of.
Wrestlers started off with basic low damage inducing moves, and as their opponent got worn down, more devastating moves would automatically be performed. 2 different game options were available once you popped in a quarter. You could take part in the Royal Rumble, where you would battle 5 other on-screen simultaneous superstars, either computer controlled or some fellow arcade patrons, to become the last man standing.
They're all going out over the top rope. The Earthquake will win the Royal Rumble.
Earthquake is the king of Royal Rumble.
Unlike the real Royal Rumble, where elimination could only occur by going over the top rope and to the floor, Wrestlefest Rumble eliminations could occur either over the top to the floor, by pinfall,
1, 2, 3,
or by submission. Unlike the real Rumble, where a new superstar enters every 2 minutes, in Wrestlefest, there could be a maximum of 6 on-screen wrestlers, and when one was eliminated, that would make room for a new one to enter, until the 12-man roster had been depleted. The other gameplay option was Saturday night's main event, a tag team campaign where you could pick 2 of your favorite superstars and work your way up the ranks to a tag team title match with Road Warrior Hawk.
Well, what have we got here?
And Road Warrior Animal.
You gotta try to win the WWF titles and ain't nobody beat a shit.
The Legion of Doom.
It's time to fight with a powerful challenge. We snack on danger, dine on death. To bury every gerbil-faced geek we face. Yeah!
One of the matches included on the road to the title was a cage match inside a 15-foot solid steel cage.
Similar to Parts Unknown, wouldn't you say?
Where you could run your opponent into the cage. No blading in this game, though. 12 of WWF's greatest made it into Wrestlefest, although only 10 of them were playable. Hawk and Animal weren't selectable in either the Rumble or Tag Team campaign, but they did show up as computer-controlled opponents in both.
Good for us, but bad for you.
Don't get too close to their corner, or Animal will hoist you up on his shoulders, and Hawk will fly off the top rope for the Doomsday device.
Hawk is up there. He's in the hop. Don't fight. I can't believe it. Forget about it. We got new champion. It's mayhem here in Madison Square Garden.
This move was only available to the Legion of Doom, but there were a few double team moves you could perform. You could hold your opponent during a tag while your partner came off the top rope with an axe handle.
Oh, what a shot!
You could hold your opponent from behind while your partner waffled him.
Now it's 2 against 1. It's party time. And ring the bell, ref.
Your partner on the ring apron could interfere with a cheap shot.
Give me a break.
Or you could pile up for a pinfall to make it even harder for your opponent to kick out. In the tag team campaign, you could take the action out of the ring, where you could use foreign objects to smash your opponents.
Oh
or throw them into the guardrails. Just make sure to get back in the ring before being counted out. Each wrestler had a taunt, unique moveset, and their patented finisher. The available roster included the WWF champion at the time, Hulk Hogan.
And what's it gonna do when Hulkamania and the largest arms in the world run wild on you?
Who finished opponents off with his big boot and leg drop combo.
I don't believe it! I'm dropping a big leg!
And his ultimate challenge, the man from Parts Unknown.
The Ultimate Warrior!
With his gorilla press and splash combo.
Oh, there it is, the press slam! And now he drops him out the back door! Big splash, yes! Oh!
The Sarge was ready to put 11 other maggots through boot camp.
Now that's an order.
Instead of just watching Sergeant Slaughter on your TV, either wrestling or putting a beating on Cobra in G.I. Joe, you could live the adventure and be the Sarge. Although his finisher is called the Cobra Clutch, it's actually the Atomic Noogie, a knuckle to the temple that he used when he first returned to the WWF in mid-1990. And who better for the perfect wrestling arcade game than Mr. Perfect?
I said I was perfect. I am perfect. You have to live with that.
One of the fastest selectable wrestlers. He'd lock opponents up for the 3 count with the Perfect Plex.
Now we're going to see the perfect plex. Beautiful maneuver, nice bridge, got the hands locked. Forget about it.
One thing was certain if you played with this superstar.
If you keep playing with snakes, you got to expect one thing. You're gonna get bit.
Jake the Snake Roberts used a cruel but fair move to put opponents away.
Because I have one thing, it's the greatest equalizer of all. That's the DDT.
And what does DDT stand for? According to Jake, the end.
Trust me.
We're going to see it. There's the DDT. Nobody's gotten up from that yet. Over, nonchalant cover because he knows it's over.
The big boss man brought law and order to Wrestlefest,
I stand tall and proud for law, order, and justice.
putting lawbreakers away with the Boss Man Slam.
Boss man picks him up and slams him down.
He was a non-playable end boss in the WWF Superstars game,
Because I'm rich in ring prowess, flush with technical skill, and extremely well off when it comes to wrestling ability.
Now the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, could be selected to put opponents to sleep with the $1 Million Dream.
Here comes $1 Million Dream slapped on. I hear him snoring.
I guess that explains why the Sarge didn't have the Cobra Clutch. The WWF was all about not stealing other people's finishers at the time. And even though Sarge used it first, he had left for a while, and DiBiase had been using it for a few years by the time Sarge returned. The ground would shake as Earthquake set up for his finisher.
You are gonna feel all of the earthquakes that I've been keeping inside.
The Earthquake Splash was sure to send opponents out on a stretcher.
Oh, my chair's shaking. The whole building is moving. Yeah, here we go. The big quake.
And the game's sole tag team, Demolition, but not the Hall of Fame combination of Axe and Smash. Axe had left the WWF at Survivor Series 1990, and a new member, Crush, had taken his place.
And unfortunately for you punks, you're on our hit list to be demolished.
They were selectable together for the tag team campaign, or either could be selected individually for the Rumble. Smash's finisher was just a regular vertical suplex.
You know what that means? Boom! Knock your stinking teeth in! Ha ha!
But Crush had his impressive tilt-a-whirl backbreaker.
It's Crush now, really putting a hurt on here.
Look at the strength in that guy.
Now let's talk about the wrestlers conspicuous by their absence. Since it seems the game took almost a year to develop, it's safe to say the available roster was from mid to late 1990. The biggest glaring exception from the game is the greatest wrestler of all time,
Mercy, yeah.
which left his fans
Confused and disillusioned.
the Macho Man Randy Savage, who had appeared in the previous game Superstars, was left out of this one. The only reasoning for this was that Randy was retired at the time the game was released, losing a retirement match to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7 in March of '91, just a few months before the game was released. With kayfabe still strong at the time, it's possible Randy was supposed to be in the game, but got pulled to keep kayfabe and not spoil his return later that year. But that doesn't mean Macho was happy about it.
I'm not even gonna ask you. You could do what you did because you already done it. Yeah.
The other glaring exception is one of the best to ever lace up the boots. The excellence of execution, Bret the Hitman Hart.
I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
He would have been a tag team champion in the Hart Foundation with Jim the Anvil Neidhart at the time the roster for the game was picked. And you can bet the Anvil wasn't too happy about being omitted either.
Happy? The Heart Foundation is not happy? Do I look happy? No, I'm not gonna take it easy. All right, all right.
Take a breath. Take it easy.
So it's very strange that they chose Demolition over the Hart Foundation.
Somehow,
you justify that's okay. That's acceptable.
Especially considering it was Smash and Crush, not Axe and Smash. Maybe the real reason the Hart Foundation wasn't included was because they're the greatest tag team of all time. Hey, somebody's got to say it. And they'd be even harder to beat than the Legion of Doom.
Are you good enough to beat the Hart Foundation? And the answer to that is plain and simple, no.
Honky Tonk Man had been in the previous game, but he was in the tag team with Greg Valentine by that point. And if the Hart Foundation wasn't getting in, neither was Rhythm and Blues.
It
As
can't
sorry
be true.
as it is, that's the truth.
That's it. I'm going right now to that big fat tunny, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Shawn Michaels would go on to be one of the most well-known wrestlers of all time, but he was still a rocker with Marty Jannetty at that point. And if the Hart Foundation ain't getting in, the Rockers ain't either. Hacksaw Jim Duggan had been a playable character in the WWF Superstars game and was still over like Rover by late 1990, but he was omitted also. I would have loved to have seen the American Dream Dusty Rhodes dropping bionic elbows in Wrestlefest.
Talking about the dreams of millions of people around this country.
He had been in the WWF since 1989, but he left in early 1991. So if they weren't including Randy Savage because he was temporarily retired and doing commentary, they definitely weren't going to use someone who had left the company to go work for WCW. Rick Rude was in the co-main event of SummerSlam 1990, but since he had left WWF later that year, he was scratched off the list for the same reason as The Dream. It's criminal how few classic WWF games Rowdy Roddy Piper made it into.
You wanna play? I'll play about this long, then I'll beat ya!
But he was in the same boat as Savage at the time, not officially retired, again, but doing mostly commentary that year. And who could have predicted the new tall zombie guy, introduced by Ted DiBiase at Survivor Series 1990, would go on to be not just one of the greatest wrestlers of WWF/WWE, but ascend to an entirely different level of special attraction like Andre the Giant was. But at the time the roster was being picked, he was simply too new, too young, and not a main event level talent yet.
You may be able to delay the tombstone, but you can never escape it.
He hadn't gotten the monster heel push against Hulk Hogan that Earthquake quickly got upon arriving. That would take another year for Taker. And speaking of the other end boss from WWF Superstars, Andre the Giant, one half of the Mega Bucks with Ted DiBiase, had his last match at WrestleMania 6 in March of 1990. If Randy wasn't getting in, neither was the eighth wonder of the world.
I'm mad, and when I'm mad, believe me.
You have to remember that in 1990/91, the WWF was all about the present, not the past. Today, the Legends are a huge part of the WWE. Legends figures, Legends t-shirts, classic matches on YouTube's WWE Vault, the annual Hall of Fame ceremony, but back then, they didn't harken on it very much, and they certainly wouldn't sacrifice roster spots in a video game for retired legends. How times have changed. Now you can make a game made up solely of legends, and it might sell better than a game made up entirely of current wrestlers. The ultimate irony is that just because a wrestler was with the company at the time of the game's release, that didn't necessarily mean he'd be there for long.
You feel good right now. Later on, you're gonna feel that you wish that you didn't do that, yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior left the WWF at the conclusion of SummerSlam 1991, just a few months after Wrestlefest was released. Randy Savage would return to the ring shortly after that and remain with the company for several more years. Mr. Perfect got injured a few months after the game was released and would retire from in-ring competition for a while after losing the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam 1991 to Bret Hart, who would remain an in-ring competitor for the company for several years to come. Hindsight's 20/20, and this game is already a timeless classic, but it would have been just a bit better with the Macho Man and the Hitman in it. In 2012, THQ released a remake of the game for iOS, this time with a more modern roster, plus a few legends, including
The greatest of all time.
And in late 2025, fans had the opportunity to bring the original arcade classic game with Cabana home with the Basic Fun reissue.
Can you imagine the immensity of the situation?
And basic is the operative word. It's almost a complete faithful recreation of the original, but as Gorilla Monsoon used to say, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. With a roster already so small, the omission of 3 superstars is a bit too much to take for many fans of the original. Because they're not currently under Legends deals with the WWE, Sergeant Slaughter and the Legion of Doom were omitted from the game.
The situation for us, it stinks.
It would have sucked to leave any of the originals out, but why did it have to be those three? For people who would love to play Wrestlefest with an expanded Legends roster, check out RetroMania, a spiritual successor to Superstars and Wrestlefest, both Legends and Modern, including the Road Warriors Hawk and Animal, Demolition, the Hall of Fame version of Axe and Smash, and thanks to a DLC, the greatest of all time, the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Am I the greatest wrestler past, present, and future that ever lived?
Yes, you are.
Okay, now say goodbye.
Thanks again to Lord Cognito for the request. It brought back some fond memories of playing this classic at Zappers in downtown Kitchener, or at Nob Hill Farms in Cambridge, where I got so good at it I could play for a half hour on 1/4, while Mom did her shopping at what was, at the time, the world's largest supermarket. Thank you Patreon Tribe for supporting this channel and its many trips down memory lane. To join the Patreon Tribe and gain access to even more exclusive trips down memory lane, over 200 of them, visit patreon.com/MichaelMercy. And thank you to the channel members for hitting that join button.
Well, that brings us to the end of this wrestling feast, which we call Wrestlefest.
Thanks for watching, and to join the tribe, clothesline subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless, feel the power, always believe, and that's an order.
Ah, what a rush!
King of Royal